Now, thank you. I don't know about that Texas remark. You see, I actually lived and grew up on a cattle ranch that was half in Arizona and half in New Mexico. We were 35 miles from the nearest tiny little town. And so when my mother got pregnant with me, she thought maybe it would be good to have a hospital, and she decided to go to El Paso. That's how El Paso got in there. It wasn't that I was from El Paso. But be that as it may, I want to thank Jocelyn and the family of George White and the American Architectural Foundation for inviting me to join you tonight to say a few words about my friend George White. I got to know him because as architect of the Capitol, do you realize how many buildings he had to, in effect, manage during his tenure? One of them is the Supreme Court of the United States. We have a building too, and it was under his jurisdiction. And the Supreme Court had various things that it had to do to the building. In fact, we've been trying to renovate it for a number of years now. And I had many, many meetings with George White and got to know him. And he left an indelible mark on Washington, D.C. His service began with a bang, literally. 5 weeks after his appointment by President Richard Nixon, a bomb exploded in a first-floor room of the Capitol building. Did you know that? Now, no one was injured, but there were hundreds of dollars worth of damage to the building, and it was George White's job to get it fixed. Now, early in his tenure, he entered a cluttered room in the old Capitol building. It was used to store some things, and one of the things he discovered in that room was that it was the original chambers of the United States Supreme Court. It was filled with trash when he discovered it, but he had it restored, and he had it open to the public, and in the process, I think it encouraged him to become a preservationist, if you will, of what we have. And his job was something like a mayor's or a city planner's. He oversaw the rise of 3 federal buildings. He restored many more. He wrote a master plan for the Capitol. He strengthened security. He improved access for people with disabilities. And he managed more than 2,500 Capitol workers, all the way from janitors to cooks to gardeners. In essence, he was responsible for the upkeep of what amounted to a small city. In fact, he referred to himself as the Capitol's mayor. His job required really high intelligence and savvy political skills, as you can imagine. And he had both of those in abundance. He was not afraid of controversy or of getting his bow tie dirty. He always wore one, you know. And in 1993, he climbed to the top of the Capitol dome to help when the Freedom statue up there was being restored. I climbed up there too, and it's quite a job. Now, Stephen Ayers has illustrated many of George White's accomplishments, but I'd like to share a couple of things about him that you might not know. He was a man of many talents. He ran track when he was in high school, and he was a fencer. He rode in competition, and he shot pistols at MIT, where he earned a bachelor's and master's degree in engineering. He also earned a master's in business administration at Harvard and a law degree at Western Reserve University. He worked for GE, and he joined his father's architectural firm in Cleveland. In addition to architecture, George led a marine hardware company, and he taught physics at Western Reserve University. Now, that's quite a bit, don't you think? But that's not all. He was also a competitive figure skater. He danced in ice shows, and he refereed hockey games. He was an artist. Did you know that? He did sculptures. He painted. He was an avid sailor. He was a ham radio operator, and he used to make furniture. And not willing to leave any category unfilled, he also played the bagpipes and the ukulele. But I hope not at the same time. When I was on the Supreme Court, I was given the opportunity to head for the court our committee to maintain our building and our grounds. And I met regularly with George White. And to know him was to like him, and to like him a lot. We had great discussions over the years, and I thought the world of him. He truly was a Renaissance man. He was a visionary who made changes that were both subtle and profound to this whole landscape of the capital center of Washington. And I think the winner of this award tonight and in the future should be very proud indeed to hold the honor named for George White. Thanks for letting me say a few words.